Hello and welcome to A Day with the Car Driver. Continuing our look at the new teens. Have we decided what to call them?
As long as it's not the naughties.
Yes.
Oh, no, sorry. That would have been the previous decade.
The previous generation.
Oh, I don't know. The 20 teens.
Anyway.
Gay teens.
The gay teens. I'm Scamp.
And I'm Day.
And so this time we got to go much quicker because this is Spring 2011, which is probably the most packed season of the entire decade.
I guess.
Well,
probably.
It's up there. And that is because...
In terms of stuff that's actually worth talking about, probably.
Yes.
In the sense of, and I mean that broadly, not like, wow, this thing was great. I mean, as in, personally, I think this thing sucked, but a lot of other people really enjoyed it.
This thing was very significant. You know, all-time classics, like Fireball Charming.
Yes, all-time classics, according to Scamp.
I have 2 Fireball figurines now.
You do. We found the one from
the first season.
Yeah.
Yo, people should watch Fireball. I'm just going to put that out there. Anyway, so I remember when I was going back through this season, I was trying to pick out what was the most significant show of the season. And ultimately I came down to, it's probably Ano Hana.
It's either that or Tiger and Bunny. And I didn't really like either one of them, so, I must be saying it seriously if I'm bothering.
I don't think Tiger and Bunny had the same... Ano Hana is what made... what's her face?
I mean, Okada had worked on a lot of stuff before. Yeah.
But Ano Hana was the thing that... Basically her career from there has been... Like, you wrote Ano Hana...
Up and up.
It's been up and up, but it's also, you wrote Ano Hana, write more things like that. That thing had a huge impact. I think it also, I'm not sure to say, but it definitely helped change the direction of Noitamina.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think it was shading in that direction already, but I think Ano Hana definitely convinced him that, enough of that trying to target stuff at women in their 20s and 30s. Let's go back to the otaku. Which isn't to say that women in their 20s and 30s can't be otaku. It's just, it was a slightly different group.
I also think there were quite a number of women who liked Ano Hana as well, so...
Well, yeah, but I didn't say... Yeah. But I don't think they were the primary target audience.
You don't have a character whose name is Anal.
That poor kid.
Yeah. I didn't like that show. I really, really aggressively disliked that show.
There was stuff I liked about the initial episodes, but then it felt like the really rabid portion of the fan base derailed it to an extent. Well, because they ended up doing something completely different. There was one of the episodes, the next episode preview seemed to imply that one of the girls ended up going to a love hotel with someone, and the fan base freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
So that changed some of what they ended up doing. So I hold that against the show.
That was more the ending. I think it.
No, that was midway.
Yeah, that was the mid. I was saying the end for me personally.
See, I didn't finish watching it. When I saw that whole thing about the shit show, I was like, forget it. I can't be bothered with this.
It made me realize that there's something fundamental about and she said this as much in interviews. I keep forgetting her name. I feel stupid. What's her name?
It's because you don't like her.
No, I don't like... But, she said in an interview something along the lines
Mari
of...
Okada.
Mari Okada. So something in an interview along the lines of... I want people to be very loud and express their emotions, simply but loudly and fervently. And I find that very antithetical to what I want emotions to be expressed in the things I watch. I find it, overbearing, unnatural, and... just a bit silly.
See, there's stuff I liked in the initial episodes because I was not far removed at this point from having lost a friend of mine. So, a lot of the grief with which characters were dealing with and their sense that, we had this very tight-knit group of friends, and this basically ruined us and ruined that, and I could relate to that. But, yeah.
Yeah. That was Ano Hana.
I liked the ending.
Yeah, the ending.
It's in the song, not the end of the show.
Yes,
like
the
I
ending.
said, I didn't see the end of the show.
You said the ending was like an old...
It was a cover of a really big song by... There was a band... Well, there was an idol group called Zone. And when this came out, it was the 10th anniversary, I think, of the release of that song. That song's been covered so many times. There's plenty of other anime that have covered it, like... what was that one with the what was that one with the pervy children? Kyo no Go no...
Oh, yes. The Today in Class 2-4, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they covered it in that show. I used to have all the covers.
I liked calling the show Dat Flower.
Yeah, okay. Gee, I wonder whose subs you watched of that.
Oh, was that a GG?
That was a GG.
Yes. Back in the old days of fan subs. Because, well, not live streaming, what do you call it? Simulcasts. Were catching on.
Well, yeah, it was in its infancy. Toddler. Yeah. I think it was a toddler by now.
Yes. I was like the one person probably on the planet who preferred the other Noitamina show this season. C, The Money of Soul and Possibility Control. Can still remember the full name.
Yeah, I didn't see C. I remember the ending was kind of weird. I remember people being yes, but I remember very specifically people being very uncomfortable with some of the implications of the ending.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't a very good show.
Everybody loves daddy-daughter incest.
It wasn't a very good show, but it did have some cool imagery and just like weird. It didn't seem like it had the greatest grasp of economics, to be honest, for a show that was all about like
we're fighting with our Pokemon, except it's economics, and our Pokemon are girls, except not all of them.
Inflation.
Okay, I guess you liked the show.
Don't tell anyone that I liked it, though, because I'll be kicked out of all the critics' things.
Well, now you're going to be, because this is a podcast, although I guess only like 5 people are listening to it.
We'll have more by now. I think the biggest show in the West, the biggest show in the West was, it probably was Steins Gate.
Are you sure it wasn't Tiger and Bunny? I think you forget how big that was.
Tiger and Bunny, I felt like Tiger and Bunny was pushed and it was big, but I felt like it was more pushed more than it was actually big.
See, I think it was legitimately big.
Yeah, I think...
I'm not saying Steins Gate wasn't big, but I don't think it was as big as Tiger and Bunny.
That'd be tough to mark. I think Steins Gate felt like it's had bigger staying power.
I also disagree with that.
You think?
And I would argue that it is perhaps distorted by the fact that we did have a Steins Gate sequel somewhat recently.
That's true.
Tiger and Bunny is the one that I always see people, whenever, like, hey, shows that you wish would get a sequel.
Yes. And
I know in Japan it's constantly like top 10 lists for that, but certainly in the West it is always the one I hear people mention.
Yeah, it is.
And part of why I feel like I've got a lot of awareness of that fact is I didn't really think it was that great, and its persistence in people's wanted lists to me is a little like, okay.
I liked it. I think
it's okay, but I think it's kind of mediocre.
The main character I thought was very good. Tiger
himself. I liked him.
He was sweet. He was.
On the other hand, he was also another like, I'm not a great dad, but I'm kind of goofy, so you should root for me. And it's like,
he tried.
Yeah, but it was okay. I didn't think it was great. And I also think they treated its depiction and treatment of its female characters sucked.
You didn't like, what's her name, Blue Pepsi or whatever her name
Blue Rose is like, okay, she's a high school girl. Check out her tits.
Was she a high school girl?
Yes.
I've forgotten that.
They even show her in her high school uniform several times.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah, and it's like...
At the time, I wrote a post of ranking the heroes, and I said my favourite was actually Sky High. Because he was the one who's like, never fear, Sky High is here, or something like that. But he was like also kind of thick.
And then, let's see, Dragon Kid, it was like, people give me shit because I'm a little bit of a tomboy. And then we have a very special episode in which I realized that actually babies are super cool. I watched like 5 minutes of that episode and I was like, what is next?
Yeah.
Having said that, I do like that in the finale. Well, in spoilers, folks, for an almost 10-year-old show, I like in the finale where they show that he's working the second-tier hero team.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Vaguely. I remember, which was the kid who was like bottom of the charts and because he was invisible and he was sitting around going, oh, I was bashed on my blog.
Oh god, I don't remember him at all.
There was, because I had to go back.
Oh god, and then of course we have her,
the flaming gay guy.
Oh my god.
God, he was actually a fun character, but he was a terrible stereotype. Steins Gate really was. Steins Gate, I think, is still ranked either number 2 or number 3 on Mal.
Ah, yes, Mal. Those arbiters of taste. I know. It's probably the best metric we have for English language fandom. There's nothing else comes close in terms of numbers.
Just, sheer size.
Volume.
And, I remember being shocked at the time when the decade ended, and I was, looking at all these lists of, what was the biggest anime of the decade. And I thought it would be Madoka, biggest anime of the year for that year. And I thought everywhere would pick Madoka, but ended up being more places pick Steins Gate. And it made me realize that actually amongst more casual fans, fucking normies, Steins Gate really, really caught on. In a really huge way. I really like Steins Gate. I just want to say that. I think it has maybe the best main character. He was a trip. I really liked how the show presented this guy who was who tried to present this caricature of him being off his rocker, and then the world started to go crazy, and the conspiracy theories he pretended to believe in started to half come true, and that causes him to doubt everything, and it was all presented through his own weird fisheye lens grey view of the world. I'm doing all these hand signals. And he was just fun as well. He was Okarin. He was a fantastic character.
I have nothing to add. I watched an episode. I was like, I'm good.
Steins Gate was big.
Thinking on it, I'm not actually sure I watched that much this season. I'm not sure why.
I was going to say, the other one that I think was secretly really, really big in the West, and I know it sold really well, was Blue Exorcist.
Was it secret that it did well, though?
I don't hear it talked about as much.
I certainly would say it wasn't on level with something like, I don't know, Naruto, but it did quite respectably.
Those kind of there's a second tier of shonen shows. Yeah. That often end up doing really, really well and you don't realize it because they're on a kind of a lower tier.
Well, because it's sort of 500,000 people on Mal have watched this. Wow, that one was a big hit. Yeah. And then you look at these other ones and you're like, this wasn't that big. And then you look at it and you're like, wait, this is 220,000 people. What? Yeah. I don't know if that's anywhere near to what Blue Exorcist got, but...
Yeah. It was, I actually watched all this one and rather liked it, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I think this was at a point where I really wasn't watching that much shonen because I was a bit shonened out.
Yeah, that's understandable. But I liked it. It's one of the handful of shonens I've personally quite liked.
Hana Hero is also pretty big.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that were pretty large.
Yeah. This is also, Mari Okada again.
Yeah. Gee, she did a lot of work this season, didn't she?
She had just come off Fractal and I think a few other stuff. She was very, very busy at this time. I kind of liked Hana Hero.
I didn't.
It had kind of a funny sense.
See, I'm just saying I didn't for everything.
I guess I watched a lot this season. I like this show, kind of. I like the characters. Well, I liked the main character and I liked her mom and I liked kind of some of the weird dynamics that were going on. Some of the characters were horrible.
Oh, that black-haired girl. That's why I stopped watching.
She was awful.
She was absolutely terrible.
Oh, she was terrible.
I do not like characters who are so actively unpleasant and the show is so insistent that we should sympathize with them on some level.
Yeah.
It's no. Yes, I can understand some of your frustrations with your situation. Nevertheless, you were unrelentingly awful to other people who are in similarly less than ideal circumstances.
There was one episode.
Stop it.
There was one episode where they were shooting a film, like at the like a documentary thing, and the girls got super excited they were going to be on film. So then there's one scene where you cut to them, and it's all very quiet, no music. You just hear birds chirping, and they're like along the bottom of the screen, jumping up and down on brooms, and they have that scene for about 10 seconds, and then cut away to something else without saying anything. PA works. I think this was the breakout hit for PA works. I think.
I'm trying to think of what else could.
Kanan.
Oh, did they do that?
I'm 80% certain.
Yeah, I think you are.
Yeah.
Gosh, there's one no one talks about anymore. Decent number of people watched at the time, but
yeah.
I think it was one of those ones that people were sort of like, well, I liked it, but the sorts of shows that you enjoy it, but you also can very clearly point, well, but I think it could have done this, and that better. Yeah. But
Hana got a movie. So
it did, yeah. Wasn't it about the mom?
I never watched this.
I'm pretty sure it was about the mom.
I didn't like it that much.
Well, I don't know how easily available it was, legally speaking.
And with that, we've kind of gone past, those are all the massive movies. And there was a ton of other just random stuff this season that actually...
I'm alright. I mean, Nichijou.
I skipped Nichijou. Nichijou didn't hit in Japan.
No, but it definitely...
It maintained.
Wasn't a huge... It was... You definitely had a hardcore fans who really, really, really loved it.
And it continues to this day. This
show
has...
I think it just got another... I think it just got re-released again in Region 1 at least. That's DVD Region 1. I don't know what it is for Blu-ray.
It's maintained in a way I don't like Nichijou. I mean, I don't like any KyoAni show, but I felt like I should have liked Nichijou and didn't.
Wrong! You do like a KyoAni show.
Go on then.
What's the name of that one? Robots.
Full Metal Panic.
Yeah, that
one. The thing is, I like the first season the most, and that's the one that doesn't have KyoAni. So, yes, I quite like Fumofu. You got me. I like a show from 2003 by KyoAni.
Yeah, so you lied.
I felt like I should have liked Nichijou, but it's the part I don't like about it is the randomness for randomness' sake. It's like, okay, what's the joke here? Oh, it's funny because she's yelled, God is dead. It's like, okay, well, did it have anything to do with... No, it didn't have anything to do with God. Which was annoying because sometimes I have jokes that are just fucking perfect.
Oh, I thought it had some absolutely fantastic sequences,
yes.
But I didn't like most of it, and
yes.
I stopped watching it pretty early on because I felt like the ratio of this is really good too.
It's like 90 to 10.
What's the joke here?
Yeah, it's 90 to 10, I would say.
And the one I always go back to is the one where she's drawing. So there's this girl, and she's been drawing yaoi in her notebook at school. And then her friend's like, hey, can I borrow your notes? She's like, oh, and she hands it over. And then she realizes her grave mistake because it's full of yaoi. And she flips out. That was a fantastic little sequence. I think the rest of that episode bored me shitless.
It's a show I still keep getting people doing reaction gifs and things like that of. I feel like it's stuck around in a way I wasn't expecting. But yeah.
Especially because I think if there's a genre that in anime, maybe it's even more broadly than just anime. I think humor tends to age less well. And I think if we're looking at comedies for anime, a lot of the ones that even 5 years ago people would have said, yes, this, I don't think many of them get mentioned anymore. Because it tends to be much more...
ephemeral.
Yeah.
You laugh once and that's it.
Well, and two, things that were... I think people's senses of humor and what's considered funny shifts more quickly than, for example, what's considered tragic.
Yeah.
Someone dying is tragic. That really has not shifted over the course of humanity's history.
I'm trying to think, so what anime comedy do you reckon has kind of stood the test of time that people still talk about? Because everyone I'm thinking of...
And the other thing I would point out about anime comedy is so much of it ultimately is of the very loud variety, and I don't think that that ages well.
Because, like, how often do you hear people talk about...
So, for example, Excel Saga.
Oh, God.
I don't think I could tolerate that for even 5 minutes these days. I know I watched a bit of it when I was, I don't know, like 13 or 14. I remember a few years back encountering, maybe it was clips of a dub for it or something, and thinking, oh my God, why is everyone shrieking? This is horrific.
Excel Saga was never actually that good.
Yeah, but a lot of it was huge.
It was huge, yes.
It was immense.
But I'm thinking things like, you don't hear people talk about Cromarty, you don't hear people talk about Azumanga, you don't hear people talk about, well, Fumofu, which we brought up earlier. These are things that were...
Fumofu, I suspect, is probably not that funny anymore. Because I think about it sometimes, like, I enjoyed it back when I saw it, but I don't think I should go back to it.
Fumofu's another one of those ones where it's like 70% is just not funny, and then 30% is inspired, but...
Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-chan.
I mean, that was never funny. That was just shocking. But yeah, that's what I think. I like, even ones from this decade, like Daily Lives of High School Boys. You know.
I think, well, I guess I'd be curious. I really liked Potemayo. I don't know if I'd still like it. I think I might because it was a little bit strange.
I mean, I would still like these things. I would still like Cromarty High School if I went back to watch it, for example. I can't think. Oh,
God. Here's a comedy that I tried watching because it was all put on Crunchyroll last year. And I was like, I bet this has aged badly. Let's see. Hitalia.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
I think we mentioned that in the previous podcast.
The episodes are what, like, maybe 2 minutes long? Or are they 5 total?
Yeah.
By the second episode, I was sitting there thinking, my God, has 5 minutes ever felt this long? It hasn't aged well.
It's basically what I'm trying to say. Is there any anime version of Life is Brian? Like a kind of...
You mean Life of Brian?
Life of Brian, yeah. Life is Brian.
Life is Brian.
Yeah, okay.
I
can't think of one. No, I can't think of one.
Someone probably can, but it's not me.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this was a large season, so we should probably fast forward.
Better keep going.
Do you remember seeing Hyoge Mono in the British museum?
So if you go to the British Museum and you go to the permanent exhibition on Japan, and I mention that's the permanent because I know they're right now doing a manga exhibition. They have in one of the glass cases about Japan the first volume of Hyoge Mono.
Was it T is Universe, T is Life?
Yeah, something like that.
That's weird. I think I watched like 2 episodes and it was lots of people pulling very like deranged faces over tea.
Oh man, that sounds like my life.
That is true. Maybe you should go back and watch that.
I need to. It's one of those ones I'm like, I absolutely gotta watch this. To be honest, I would really be happy if someone licensed it. The show would be nice too, but I was thinking the manga would be nice to have licensed, but it's 30-something volumes long.
Yes,
so.
It's also historical, so you can pretend you're being very thoughtful and stuff. And like, yes, history, yes, this was in the museum.
I don't worry about that because I am the person who every conversation eventually wraps around to
World War I.
So I don't have to worry about that.
Showa Monogatari is another thing you could pretend you're watching because it's historical. Did it ever get subbed?
I'm sure someone subbed it somewhere.
Because I know you were saying...
I would have... Yeah, you know what? I don't think anyone did at the time, at least, or maybe it was very, very slow. I suspect Showa Monogatari... I think it was more targeted toward an adult audience who themselves had lived in the Showa era.
Older than that, I heard it was targeted towards, like retired people.
You mean retirees aren't adults?
I meant when you said adults.
Well, but that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That, again, so to me, saying it's a historical piece, yes, but I would argue that it's probably more a nostalgia piece.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to watch him.
We need to see it before.
Yeah.
I did watch Kaiji. The second season of Kaiji came out.
Oh, is this the bog arc? Is that what it was called?
The bog, yes.
Everybody seemed to be suffering.
That's because it moved so slow.
You know what, though? It was no Endless 8.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Well, things changed, but things changed so... Kaiji... Zawa. I'm just gonna go Zawa.
Gambling Apocalypse Kaiji.
Oh yeah, that's what it's called, isn't it?
Yeah. But everybody just calls it Kaiji.
Yeah. That was I'm looking down through this list of some of the stuff that came out. There is so much.
There were some really weird ones too, but I suppose we can get to those when we get to the stuff that wasn't very good.
I don't know. Did you like Dempona? Or did you ever see? Or did you just?
I was so pissed. I liked. Look, when she was being a real weirdo and just I'm an alien. I'm wrapped up in a futon. I was like, yes. But the show's whole thing was like, no, you're not an alien, you stupid kid. Stop it. You need to grow up. And I was like, fuck you. Let her stay an alien. So I was this was during a time when we were getting a decent number of things where they had the character who was, you're a Chinibyo.
Oh, yes.
You need to grow up. And my feeling in a lot of cases is like, leave them the fuck alone. They're 13. Why are you worried about this? They're not going to college yet or becoming an adult. Back the fuck off. Pardon my French. But I did feel that strongly. Maybe because I was a weird kid myself.
I just realized.
I liked the OP.
Oh God, I still don't know how people can like that OP. Oh God. It's someone deliberately singing terribly.
No, it's just auto-tuned to hell.
She just sounds...
I assumed it was
She sounds like she's holding her nose.
Well, she sucked helium, obviously. I just assumed it was auto-tuning.
It was not auto-tuning, she just sounds terrible. Auto-tuning would sound better.
I don't think you... Wait. What?
Auto-tuning would sound better than whatever she screeched.
You realize that auto-tuning is a method, not something that is like...
Yes.
This is the exact result it leads to.
No.
You can dial it up and down, and sometimes artists use it to deliberately sound...
I think that's just how she sounded.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
No, but that's what I think.
Okay.
And you think...
I think that the sun is cheese.
Well, fine.
Anyway.
What Tabor did have a good OP, though. It was Dead Man Wonderland.
Actually, Dead Man Wonderland is one we should have mentioned with the popular stuff,
yeah,
isn't it?
that was pretty big.
It was big, and also so this didn't happen for a while, but once it hit Toonami, it was even, it was one of those shows that people who never watch anime ended up watching.
Because it's so dark and
it's so meaningful and
it was modern.
This is what life is like.
It was modern MD Geist. It was pretty bad.
I am not proposing to you with a Dead Man Wonderland DVD.
Did you watch the sequel to Aria the Origination? Aria the Scarlet Ammo?
I feel like I still see people mention that show, and I genuinely don't get it.
Anyway.
Oh, let's see.
Can I talk about something that's good? Sorry, I've talked about enough things that are bad. I want to talk about something that's good. I'm going to talk about...
Toa no Kwan!
No.
Sekaiichi Hatsukoi!
No, don't talk about...
Moshidora? Okay, fine. Have your piece.
I liked children who chase lost voices.
Oh God, now we've been completely off into... Yeah. Now we're talking about movies?
Yes.
Goodness.
What was
Changed gears very quickly.
What's the name of that director? He's since gone on to do Your Name, which is now the big...
Shinkai? Makoto Shinkai?
Makoto Shinkai. This was his attempt at a Ghibli movie, basically. Because he was kind of like making his way there anyway. And then he made this big movie about... I mean, isn't it a going to another world?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a going to another world.
See, I saw nothing this season. Not even movies.
What's the name of that genre now? Isekai.
Nisekoi.
Yeah, Nisekoi. Thanks, dear. It's an isekai. It's technically an isekai, but I quite liked it because it wasn't quite as like navel-gazy, I feel, and just like people standing around while pretty clouds are floating around the background that a lot of Shinkai stuff is. But that's kind of why I liked it.
Look, 5 centimeters per second. I did not like the second and third portions story-wise, but I did like the visuals. Those damn cherry blossoms. Anyway.
Dem clouds.
Children who chase lost voices.
I liked it. but I'm one of the only people. It kind of had a weird ass ending as well. I don't know, but again, I'm like the only person who does seem to like or even bloody remembers it exists.
I mean, I know it exists. I just haven't seen it. Wasn't it the full title like Children Who Chase Lost Voices from Deep Below?
In the UK, they changed it to Journey to Agartha.
Huh.
It's a much shorter name. Probably makes it had cool visuals.
I don't know. I kind of like Children Who Chase Lost Voices.
Just leave it at that. Yeah, I prefer that. Certainly better than Children Chase Lost Voices from Deep Below. God, there's so much this season. And so many bad things as well. Like...
Astaroth's
toy.
Oh,
God.
Astaroth no Mocha. This is about a child succubus who doesn't like men. I know I've definitely seen people refer to it as the, like, semen-sucking baby show.
Yes, that is probably the best
There's really no way of putting a better spin on this, or like a... Look, it's about like a 10-year-old succubus. I don't know what you want me to say.
Excuse me, she's 11. There's like Hoshizora, which I've forgotten its full name.
Oh, A Bridge to the Starry Skies?
Yes,
no, or am I mixing that? So, I mixed up the titles of, there was one that was like Starry Skies, which was this barely animated otome adaptation, and I think this one's A Bridge to the Starry Skies. And
this is the one where it's one of those harem adaptations, but the actual true love interest is the guy's little brother, which it's a bit Shoda-y, if I remember.
I mean, I don't think he ever actually is explicitly the love interest, but
no,
he does seem more concerned with the little brother than he is with any of the haremettes.
There was Soft Tenny, which was like a show that was about tennis, but was actually about...
Yeah, but it was soft tennis, not that butch tennis.
But it was about how to get as many Evangelion references into a porny harem show.
I don't think it's a harem.
No, it was Cheesecake, I guess.
It wasn't, because there were no guys in it.
I think the trainer was a guy, but it was more Cheesecake. But then it was also about how many Evangelion references they can fit in.
It also, so the lead girl in Soft Tenny was, she had the same face and hair as the titular creature in Potemayo, and that kind of weirded me out.
How many times can we bring up Potemayo in one episode?
I mean, I could try harder if you want me to.
How can you bring up do you think they would hunt things like Potemayo and Toriko?
Oh god, yes.
God, Toriko to me is, hey, you know the way Japan has a serious problem with them not obeying international laws about hunting endangered species, particularly whales? Hey, let's make an entire anime about that, except those people are the good guys.
Yeah, I remember reading a review of it early on where the person's like, well, this is a show about poaching, and that's kind of weird. Yep. Especially because it's a show about poaching for children. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, Toriko is, I like, genuinely one of the worst anime of the decade, I think.
Ooh, what about Toriko meets Dog Days? Because they're all, like, furry little creatures in that show.
I think Dog Days is slightly better than some of the other stuff we've been mentioning.
I think Dog Days was just terribly bland. Yeah. It's one of those ones I remember marveling at, because it got a sequel. I think it got 2 sequels, and people who were watching it seemed to really like it, even if it was really bland. I didn't get it, but whatever.
There is so much stuff this season.
You keep saying that.
Yeah, but I think we might cut it there.
You know what though? There are 2 more that I want to mention. Yeah. Do you think you're going to get away without me mentioning Sekaiichi Hatsukoi?
You brought it up briefly.
Do you know how infrequently we get yaoi?
Particularly one that was quite as big as Sekaiichi was?
It wasn't as big as his predecessor, Junjo Romantica, but it did pretty well. I'm here to tell you it was a step down from Junjo Romantica because whereas Junjo Romantica had 2 somewhat decent storylines, Sekaiichi cut that to 1 decent storyline. Granted, it was a really good one, but the other 2 were basically... This was very much from the school of, like, if I pester you enough and I sexually assault you enough, you'll fall in love with me. Mm-hmm. That was what 2 of the storylines were. So I ended up only watching the episodes about the one good couple. Yeah. The person who directed this is the person who ended up directing the 3rd season of Sailor Moon Crystal, by the way.
Was that where it got a lot better? Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then You know, I really do want to mention it just for the sheer weirdness of it. Moshidora.
That was it.
That was so bizarre. Moshidora was, what if a high school baseball team manager discovered Drucker's management book or whatever it's called?
Yes, read Drucker's management book.
Yes, that was it. So, you know, I don't know who on earth this was made for. I really don't. This was a management book from, like, the 90s that was huge, and a lot of people in business read it, and I think a lot of people in business continue to read it. I'm never going to read it because that sounds so boring. And they decided this entire premise of this story was this high school girl, she's a baseball team manager, and she decided to read Drucker's. And from my understanding, it's really, really, it goes pretty deep into detail of this book's management philosophy and principles.
Hey, you say this. The anime didn't.
It didn't?
I remember I watched about half of it.
I heard it wasn't very good.
It wasn't. But it wasn't very good because they fucking did nothing in it. Really, really bad.
I might have totally the wrong impression then.
Like, maybe the original novel did, but the anime did nothing.
Wow.
It's a long time since I've seen it, though. God, it's been, yeah.
I mean, well, I don't know. Do you think it was one of the strangest ones this season? Actually, I would even argue that it might be one of the stranger premises I've ever come across in anime, which is saying a lot.
Yes.
But that was the spring of 2011. Did I watch anything?
Did you like anything from this season?
I don't think I did. I mean, there was stuff that I liked a little. Like, I watched all Tiger and Bunny.
Did you ever watch Fireball Charming?
No, my dear, but I have not seen Fireball. This house is only big enough for one Fireball mega fan, just like this house is only big enough for one Love Liver.
That's true. I mean, it's probably a good thing because I won't spend all my money on Love Live figurines like someone else might have.
So it's the guy who, I think I see a boobular CC character over there.
Excuse me, her name is pronounced C2 because it's 2 C's in a row.
Oh, is it pronounced C? Okay.
Yes, that's
Sorry.
it. And that's the spring 2011 season. Remind everyone how great Fireball Charming is.
Folks, please watch it. He wants more to get made eventually.
They only made 3 episodes of the latest season.
There.
I am very sad.
We'll see you next time, folks. Try not to be sad.
Bye.